on the air.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe. And ready to learn something new today?
We have a medical lesson for you today.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe. And ready to learn something new today?
We have a medical lesson for you today, friends. It's about something rather unpleasant and painful.
That's right. Today we're going to be talking about gout. I've never had gout before. Have you, Anne-Marie?
No. So how are we supposed to talk about this if we've never experienced it?
Well, I've got an idea.
Okay.
Let's share some critical thinking questions with our friends at the end of our lesson and talk about them together. What do you think?
Great idea. Critical thinking is a way to understand writing. We can ask ourselves questions to fully understand what's being said and why.
The why is important. So the first question we'll ask today is, why was this article written? That will give us the motive of the writer.
Great. Next we'll ask, who does this affect?
So why, who? Okay, and lastly, we can ask, how is this relevant to me? That sentence basically means, what does this have to do with me?
Can you remember those questions, friends? Why was this article written? Who does this affect? And how is this relevant to me?
So we'll talk about these questions later on today, but for now, take out your magazines and let's get started.
Gout. A pain in your joints might be caused by a bigger problem. You wake up in the middle of the night with intense pain in your big toe. It feels as if it's on fire. It could be gout. The pain comes on quickly, often at night. The joint at the base of the big toe is where it usually hits. But it can occur in other joints, such as ankles, knees, or fingers. Gout happens when high uric acid levels in your blood cause uric acid crystals to form in your joints. The crystals cause pain and swelling.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 今天要看的第一个字是 joint。joint 是一个名词，在文章里是指关节。来看例句 ：When Mrs. Clark got out of bed, her joints felt very stiff. Clark 太太起床的时候，她觉得关节很僵硬。Joint 也有共同的或是共有的意思，比方说 ，After Jim and Anita got married, they decided to open a joint bank account. Jim 跟 Anita 结婚后，就决定要在银行里开一个共有的户头。Joint 也可以指餐馆或是酒吧，譬如说 Kelly is meeting her friends at the joint across the street from her apartment. Kelly 跟她的朋友们要在她公寓对面的餐馆碰面。好，接下来我们要看的字是名词 swelling。身体有哪里肿起来，那就是 swelling。我们来看几个例句。Greg hurt his knee, and he's now putting ice on it to keep the swelling down. Greg 伤了膝盖，他现在在冰敷，以便控制膝盖的肿胀程度。或是 Rachel woke up with swelling on her right eye. She's guessing a mosquito had bitten her. Rachel 醒来时右眼是肿的，她猜是蚊子咬的。再来一句 There is swelling on my arm. It doesn't hurt, but it itches a lot. 我的手臂上有个肿块，它不痛，但是非常痒。好 ，Let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack. You did a swell job. Of course, the use of the word swell like that is a little bit different than swelling as it is used in our lesson. If you did a swell job, that means you did a good job or an excellent job. Well, our title is gout, and we see here in the deck, a pain in your joints might be caused by a bigger problem.
We continue reading. You wake up in the middle of the night with an intense pain in your big toe. It feels as if it's on fire. Ouch!
Yeah.
That doesn't sound comfortable at all.
No, not at all. So someone has an intense pain in their big toe right here. It feels as if it's on fire. Perhaps it could be infected or inflamed at least, right? Well, that's an interesting phrase there. If it feels as if it's something, we use this kind of phrase like the word like. So as if here means like. It feels like it's on fire.
That's right. It doesn't actually mean that your toe is on fire. It's kind of a way of an exaggeration or to describe a feeling here. For example, maybe if you hurt your arm or broke your arm, you could say, oh, it feels like my arm, or it feels as if my arm is about to fall off.
Yeah, so that's definitely an exaggeration,
Yes.
right? Because your arm's not really going to fall off. So the word like and the word as if could be used kind of like a metaphor, but it is definitely a way of comparing something. So that pain in your toe, if you've felt this before, it could feel like fire. It could be compared to feeling fire.
That's correct. Let's keep reading. The pain comes on quickly, often at night.
Wait, you skipped over an important sentence there, Anne-Marie. It could be...
Oh, I did. It could be gout.
You just didn't want to say the word gout.
I didn't want to say the word gout. It just sounds so unpleasant to me.
Yeah, well, it is unpleasant. It is an unpleasant kind of pain here. The pain comes on quickly, often at night. And that phrase is interesting, right? Usually you just use the word come, but here come on, okay? It comes on. This means it starts to arrive or to happen.
I've heard this said about fevers before, too. The fever came on quickly, so she had to go to the emergency room right away. That means the fever just came out of nowhere.
And sometimes if you feel like you're about to sneeze, you could say, I feel a sneeze coming on.
Oh, that's true, too.
Right? It means it's going to happen sometime soon. I'm not sure, but that
It's
sneeze
coming.
is coming on.
Let's keep reading here. The joint at the base of the big toe is where it usually hits, but it can occur in other joints such as ankles, knees, or fingers. Well, there's a phrase there that says such as. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, in our lesson, such as is used to share examples, okay? So maybe there's not really a pain in the ankles, knees, or fingers, but there could be a pain there because those are some examples of places that could experience pain.
That's right. We read on, gout happens when high uric acid levels in your blood cause uric acid crystals to form in your joints. The crystals cause pain and swelling.
And if you're not sure what those uric crystals look like, well, we have a lovely picture for you here to give you a slightly better understanding of gout.
That's right. But right now we are going to learn about another toe-related pain in our info cloud. Hi friends, welcome to Info Cloud. Rex, are you okay? You look like you're in pain.
I am in a bit of pain. I stubbed my toe this morning and it still hurts.
Oh, Rex, I'm so sorry. But that's a good point to talk about.
You want to talk about my toe?
No. The phrase to stub your toe. When you stub your toe, you hit it against something. Rex, how did you stub your toe?
I stubbed my toe by hitting it against my chair when I got up from the breakfast table.
Oh, I see. Well, Rex, have you ever dipped your toe into something?
What do you mean? And why are we still talking about my toe?
Okay. It's just another fun phrase to teach. When you dip your toe into something, you try it out for the first time. Or you try something that is unfamiliar.
Ah, yes. I've recently dipped my toe into baking. I'm slowly learning how to bake a few things.
Well, that's great. Just don't stub your toe as you're in the kitchen, dipping your toe into baking. And I do hope that your toe feels better soon.
相信大家都有过脚趾头踢到桌角或是椅子的经验，真的是很痛。英文可以用 stub one's toe 来形容。例如 I stubbed my toe by hitting it against my chair. 我踢到椅子，伤了我的脚趾头。另外一个跟 toe 脚趾头有关的用语是 dip one's toe， 字面上是用脚趾头去碰触一样东西，意思就是尝试去学习或做一件新的事情。I've recently dipped my toe into baking. 我最近开始尝试去做烘焙。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Hey, boss, do you have a moment?
Of course. What can I do for you?
Can I go over these project proposals with you?
Oh, absolutely. Let me take a look. Wow, these are great.
I'm hoping to complete the first 3 by the end of next week.
Whoa, that's a huge workload. Now, I like that you are hardworking, but I don't want you to burn out.
Burn out?
Yes, please don't burn out.
Burn out.
Now, I know that you can do these projects, but you still need to find balance with your work. You don't want to get too exhausted and not be able to complete anything. Can you manage your work and stress levels to complete this? I really don't want you to burn out.
Oh, so that's what burnout means.
Yes. What did you think it meant?
Well, you know, how a candle burns out and it no longer has a flame and... Actually, boss, I'm just kidding. I should get working on this now so that I don't burn out.
Okay, now I know that you can do this, but I will be watching you.
Thanks, boss.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back, friends. Thank you for sticking with us. Hey, Anne-Marie, have you ever stubbed your toe before?
Oh, I sure have. I hate that feeling. It's especially painful when there's swelling in the joint of your big toe.
Great use of our language lab words. Okay, friends, are you ready to continue learning with our lesson today?
Let's go on to our second reading for today.
Gout. Your kidneys usually take the uric acid out of your blood, but sometimes there is too much for them to handle. Many people think gout comes from eating too much red meat and drinking too much. But research shows that gout is genetic. Diet and weight can bring on attacks of gout, but do not cause it. Eating a healthy diet and staying at a healthy weight will help. However, the best way to treat gout is to take medicine.
我们再来看下一个字 attack。在文章里 attack 是一个名词，意思是攻击。比如说 The soldiers are planning an attack. It will happen at midnight. 军人们在策划要进攻，打算在半夜里突袭。我们也可以用 attack 来指强烈的批评，比 比方说 The manager's verbal attack during the meeting was very inappropriate. 经理在会议中的言语批评实在是非常不妥当。那么在文章里 attack 是指身体内的疾病突然发作，例如 Michelle was so stressed out that she had a panic attack. Michelle 的压力过大，造成她恐慌发作。最后我们要看的字是 genetic。genetic 是一个形容词，意思是跟基因有关的或是遗传性的。来看例句 Sabrina is interested in becoming a genetic engineer. Sabrina 有兴趣成为一位基因工程师。还有 Evelyn has diabetes and she says it is genetic. Her mother has it too. Evelyn 有糖尿病，她说是遗传的，因为她母亲也有。再来一句 Hip dysplasia is a genetic disease that affects German shepherds. 髋关节发育不良是一种在德国牧羊犬中的遗传性疾病。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you, Jack. Let's keep reading here, friends. Your kidneys usually take the uric acid out of your blood, but sometimes there is too much for them to handle.
Oh, this just does not seem like a very pretty picture, Anne-Marie.
Not at all, especially that phrase, too much for them to handle. That phrase is never used in a positive way.
Exactly. It's too much to handle. This means that it's too much to control. You use this kind of phrase to talk about something that could be very difficult to manage.
That's right. Sometimes you hear of people, they have the disapproval of their parents. And that's too much for them to handle, so they end up changing their career or what they're studying in school because they just can't handle their parents' disapproval.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was too much to handle, so they just run away from home and get away from it all.
Well, maybe if it's somebody younger, that would be the case.
Right, that could be the case, right? If something is too much to handle. Have you ever experienced something like that in life, friends, where you felt it was really stressful and overwhelming and it was too much to handle?
Well, here we're going to talk about something that people think about gout, but isn't necessarily true. Many people think gout comes from eating too much red meat and drinking too much. Well, that's an interesting phrase, drinking too much.
Yeah, drinking too much what? Like drinking too much water?
No.
Maybe drinking too much soda, Coke, or...
When we use this phrase in English, this is really important, students. When we say drinking too much, we are specifically talking about alcohol.
You're exactly right. So that word doesn't appear at this sentence, but that's the idea. If someone says, he has a problem with drinking, it's not just talking about drinking anything like water or Coke or something. They're talking about the person being an alcoholic. They have a problem drinking too much alcohol.
Gabe, has anyone ever asked you, do you want to go get drinks?
You mean here in Taipei?
Anywhere.
Anywhere? Okay, yes, but the meaning
It means two different things, doesn't it?
Is different depending on what country you're in.
We should explain that to our friends.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this reminds me of a true story that happened with a friend who came to visit not too long ago. We went out to lunch. We're in Taipei, okay? We went out to lunch, and after lunch I said, hey, do you want to go get a drink? You know, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, so tea.
Well, exactly, that's what I meant. But this friend had a problem with alcoholism. He's trying to get over his addiction to alcohol. So he said, no, Gabe, I really shouldn't. I'm trying to get over that. I said, wait, no. I was talking about just going to a tea stand and getting a drink.
So you can see, friends, if you say drinks or drink to someone from the United States, they are going to think that you mean alcohol.
Especially that question, do you want to get a drink or would you like to get a drink?
That means, do you want to go get a beer? Do you want to go get drinks after work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to go get drinks after work? A lot of people, that's kind of a part of the culture in a lot of Western countries.
That's right.
Right? Well, anyway, now you know that, friends, okay? Drinking, a lot of times, if they don't specify what drink it is, it's referring to alcohol.
If you want to specifically ask if someone wants to drink something, but you're not meaning alcohol, you can ask them, do you want something to drink? That includes any drink at all. That's a safe question to ask.
Yeah, something. Do we want something from the store, okay? But we continue here, but research shows that gout is genetic, so it doesn't have to do with eating too much red meat or drinking alcohol. But research shows it's genetic. Diet and weight can bring on attacks of gout but do not cause it. Now that phrase bring on is kind of like the phrase come on earlier, but here's what bring on means. This means to cause or appear or happen.
You know, recently, maybe you've seen in the news last year, the United States had a lot of wildfires, and those were brought on by droughts. So that means a lack of rain caused those wildfires to happen. They brought them on.
That's right. Great example. Okay, so friends, this is what causes gout is genetics, okay? Eating a healthy diet and staying at a healthy weight will help. However, the best way to treat gout is to take medicine.
Well, speaking of diets, right now we have a skit for you, and we will learn about just that.
Yay, it's snack time.
Excuse me, do you want to be healthy?
Why, yes, of course.
Then you need to follow a healthy diet.
So, what is a healthy diet?
Everything you need to know is right here. It's the perfect diet plan.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Well, some foods are good for you and other foods are not.
Of course. That makes sense.
So, throw out those chips.
My chips! But I love chips!
And throw out the soda. It's not part of this diet plan.
Soda is not on the diet?
No. And this diet says no sweets. So throw out those cookies and that candy and the pizza. Yes.
No way! I'd rather throw out the diet.
Throw out the diet?
Yes. And you!
No, you just throw it out.
And don't come back unless you're bringing snacks. How can you throw out my chips?
Well, friends, earlier in our lesson today, we told you to remember 3 questions that we would be talking about during our ending today. Do you remember what they were? The first one was, why was this article written? The second one was, who does this affect? And the third one was, how is this relevant to me? Let's try to answer those questions now.
All right, well, let's see. Why was this article written? Yeah, that is a very good question. Why does it appear in your Studio Classroom magazine just around Chinese New Year?
Is there something cultural that could be connected with it, maybe?
I think so. Okay. Especially,
Well, what do you think?
This is what makes me think this. It's kind of a hint in our lesson, because our lesson says many people think gout comes from eating too much red meat and drinking too much, and that's what people do around Chinese New Year. And so people think that gout comes from doing those things.
So maybe they think if they eat more of those things during Chinese New Year, they're going to get gout.
Exactly. And so our lesson, I think, maybe was written to kind of do away with that myth, or to give us some clarity on what's really going on and what gout really comes from.
Okay, well, let's look at our second question. Who does this affect?
Yeah.
Who is going to either benefit or learn something from this article?
Well, the first thing I think of is people who tend to believe a lot of things that, they hear from the culture, right? Even though they might not be true. And so when you read this, you think, oh, gout is more of a genetic issue.
It's dispelling a myth.
Exactly. That's a great word, Anne-Marie, dispelling a myth.
Well, our last question is, how is this relevant to me?
Yeah, well, how is it relevant to me? Well, you might have somebody in your family or a friend who experiences gout. You can show them this article. Those are my answers to these questions.
All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we can't wait to see you next time when we have a brand new lesson for you here on Studio Classroom.
A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.